Welcome back to This Day in Scottish History. I'm your host, Colin MacDonald, and today we're taking a look at the foundation of one of Scotland's most important financial institutions. On this day, December 16th, 1844, the Edinburgh Stock Exchange was officially established. It marked a key moment in Scotland's economic history, tying Edinburgh even closer to the heart of international trade and finance. By the mid 19th century, Scotland was firmly entrenched in the Industrial Revolution. Edinburgh, though often considered a city of learning and culture, had long been a significant financial centre. The establishment of the Edinburgh Stock Exchange formalised the city's role in the rapidly expanding world of global finance. The stock exchange emerged as a response to the growing demand for a centralised market where shares, bonds, and other securities could be traded. With Scotland's industries flourishing from textiles and shipbuilding to coal mining and railways, there was a critical need for mechanisms to raise capital and manage investments. Housed initially in modest quarters on George Street, the Edinburgh Stock Exchange quickly became a hub of activity. Brokers, investors, and speculators gathered to trade in the stocks of burgeoning railway companies, insurance firms, and banks that were driving Scotland's economic engine. The rise of the Edinburgh Stock Exchange coincided with the railway boom of the 19th century. By 1844, Scotland was in the midst of building an extensive railway network that would transform the movement of goods and people. Financing these massive infrastructure projects required the sale of shares and bonds, and the stock exchange provided the platform for these transactions. Railway stocks were so popular that they dominated trading activity in the early years of the exchange. Investors were eager to buy into the promise of faster connections between Scotland's cities and towns, as well as between Scotland and England. While London's stock exchange remained the financial powerhouse of the United Kingdom, Edinburgh's exchange catered to Scotland's unique economic environment. Many of the companies listed in Edinburgh were deeply rooted in the Scottish economy, including firms in agriculture, banking, and insurance. Edinburgh was already home to some of the world's oldest banks, including the Bank of Scotland, founded in 1695, and the Royal Bank of Scotland, established in 1727. The stock exchange complemented these institutions by creating a marketplace where these banks could issue and trade shares, further strengthening Scotland's financial sector. The Edinburgh Stock Exchange faced its share of challenges. Economic downturns, such as the railway mania crash of the late 1840s, tested the resilience of brokers and investors alike. However, the exchange adapted and grew, reflecting the diversification of Scotland's economy. By the late 19th century, Edinburgh's exchange had become a major player in the trade of government bonds, insurance stocks, and investments in colonial ventures. Its success mirrored Scotland's global influence during the Victorian era. In 1964, the Edinburgh Stock Exchange merged with the Glasgow Stock Exchange, forming the Scottish Stock Exchange. This merger reflected broader trends of centralisation within the financial sector, but also symbolised the enduring importance of Edinburgh as a key financial hub. Today, while the original exchange no longer operates as an independent entity, Edinburgh remains a critical part of Scotland's financial services industry. The city is home to major investment firms, asset managers, and global banks, with roots tracing back to the 19th century exchange. The establishment of the Edinburgh Stock Exchange on December 16th, 1844, underscores Scotland's long tradition of innovation and leadership in the world of finance. It laid the foundation for Edinburgh's modern identity as one of Europe's premier financial centres, a reputation it holds to this day. That's all for today's episode of This Day in Scottish History. Thank you for joining me, Colin MacDonald, as we uncovered another fascinating chapter in Scotland's past. Tune in tomorrow for more stories that shaped our nation. Until then, haste ye back.